So, I want to talk just a little bit about a skill set and tool that you already have within your employment, your personal employment, that is one of the best and most sophisticated tools that is available for dealing with things such as anxiety and distress in any format. This tool helps you, like I said, deal with distress, anxiety in any format, but any type of emotional regulation like sadness, grief, intense joy, any big emotional experience. This skill set helps you navigate difficulty and pleasure. This skill set also helps you really understand and deal appropriately with hunger. So you're very aware when you're actually hungry and you're not just emotionally hungry. It helps you deal with temperature variations, both internally and externally. It helps you deal with anything with digestion. When I have to eliminate, like the nice amount of time that I have before I know that I have to eliminate, it helps you really gain, and I'm not even bullshitting here, a stronger sense of self. And what this skill set is called is interoception. And interoception is simply the internal perception of sensation. It's knowing on the inside what's going on with my organs, feeling like my belly grumble when I'm hungry, feeling food move through my belly when I'm digesting, feeling my heartbeat, feeling my body breathe. And it also includes everything else under the autonomic nervous system paradigm, which includes feelings. And I think feelings is such an interesting word because it really means two different things. It means emotions, feelings, and it means sensations, feelings. And really, in my book, in my understanding, those two are the same thing. And feelings are very much the way that we digest the moment by moment experience of being alive. At every moment, we're taking in just hundreds of thousands of bits of information. And what our prefrontal cortex is processing is less than 10%. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's a fraction of what we're taking in. And so that means like a lot is being processed in the subconscious, or you can even say a lot has been unprocessed, a lot has been processed in the past, and that's it. Implicit memory, all these like kind of hidden ways that we recall things and remember things. And that implicit memory is very much how we go out into the world and protect ourselves from pain and pleasure. And one of the ways that we can be a little bit more consciously engaged in the world and more consciously engaged in ourselves is to bring the way we do that, the implicit memory, forward into consciousness, into explicit memory. And the way we do that is through this skill set, this tool called interoception. So I want you to just try this little activity with me. So take a second and think about someone or something, a pet or a place that feels really yum to you. It feels really like nurturing and nourishing to you. You can close your eyes and let the complexity of your memory and your mind paint the picture as clearly and truly as you can. And notice as you do that how your physical body responds. Notice that your physical body responds. And I'll tell you right off the bat, when I do that, I feel this like yummy sort of gentle fluttering through my whole front body that feels super pleasant. So on the contrast of that, just to create a contrasting experience, which is one of the best teachers we have as humans, try on not like the mother of all difficulty, but just like someone, something that causes a little bit of friction, causes a little bit of in you or for you. And just put your toe in the water for that, just like a little toe in the water for that friction causing thought or memory. And notice what happens in your body there. So for me, I feel through the central column of my spine a contraction, like my body kind of hugs in a little bit and tries to protect itself, which is great. I'm not interested in anyone learning how to override your body's brilliant mechanisms of safety. It's because of those brilliant safety mechanisms that we're alive today, that our species has gotten this far, that your ancestors have survived and you exist. It's like you are a testament to all of those brilliant physical mechanisms of the stress response and safety. However, when we're dealing with things like anxiety and the stress response, anxiety in general though, that response likely is not relevant for what's happening in the moment. And the way you can start to work with that misplaced functionality is to learn to catch it really, really early on. When we don't have a strong sense of interoception, when that skill set is quiet or weak or unpracticed, what often happens is we get way ahead of ourselves down the path of anxiety. And when we notice it is when the volume is turned way up. So for me, in my experience, when the volume of anxiety is turned up really loud, it's like completely in my gut. My gut's in knots. I get a little nauseous. I get really like in my body. But if I'm attuned, I can feel that first aspect of anxiety come up as like this like light, airy feeling in my skin that isn't a pleasant feeling. It feels like I'm starting to get ungrounded. It feels like a tiny bit too much stimulation. And then when I notice that, and I take a second to resource into present moment awareness, let my ears take in sounds from the moment. Let my body feel the support of earth and allow my eyes to orient to anything that's pleasant, or beautiful, or safe. I feel my breath in my back body, which is where the lowest part, the lowest lobe of the lung lives, is like through the low part of the front body and feeds up into more of the back body and allows your diaphragm to move and breathe, and allows, when your diaphragm is loose and very jellyfish-like, the chance for charge in your system to move through is a lot more likely and way more efficient. So I think that's really one of the gifts of yoga. It's not talked about very often, but I believe, at least in my experience, this practice, the skill set of interoception, is one of the great gifts that yoga offers. Because the call of yoga, by its nature, asks for your full attention in as many moments as you're able to give it. Like, you can't do these crazy poses without being completely present. You can't even balance in tree without completely being there. So to be there is like feeling into your body. And you start to feel into your body as to what feels good, what feels strong, what feels not engaged, what feels not quite alive yet. And then this binary activity of pleasant, unpleasant, this feels good, this feels bad, starts to feed itself into the subconscious mind. And you take it, I took it, I think we all do in some way, shape, or form if we've been practicing for a while, off the mat. And we start to be like, whoa, this feels good. This relationship feels like, that feels good. This relationship, maybe not so good. This way that I spend my time and maybe my money feels good. This one, not so good. And it becomes this yes, no, binary flow towards what's in the greatest alignment with you. And what's cool is it's different for everybody. I mean, there's definitely like human traits of what feels good and what feels bad. But when you get down to like nuance, it's really about being in accordance and being in alignment with your truth. And there's nothing really up here that will, I shouldn't say that. There's less up here that will lead you in the right direction. There's nothing here in your physical body that will lead you in the wrong direction. This, in support of this, is great. This can be fed with ego, and I'm not saying ego is bad, but this whole idea of how I want to be perceived, what someone else's version of success looks like, all these ways that ego can get in the way of you being in line with right, wrong for you is doesn't speak in the language of the soma, doesn't speak in the language of interoception. So if you have a strong dialogue, if you have a strong vocabulary with the sensations of your inner body, I can guarantee you will less likely be led astray from your deepest integrity and also your deepest desire. How's that for a sell? So I just want to give 2 quick sentences from a study that was done about interoceptive awareness and emotional regulation. So the first one is, effective emotional regulation involves the ability to accurately detect and evaluate cues related to physiological reactions to stressful events. That awareness, physical awareness, accompanied by appropriate regulation strategies that temper and influence the emotional response. So, what are appropriate regulation strategies? Resourcing, softening the diaphragms, breath in the back body, presencing, grounding, present moment awareness. You pair that with a strong vocabulary of how my physical body is responding to my emotional state, and you're going to become a master of emotional regulation. One more sentence. Okay. Interoceptive awareness provides a distinct advantage to engage in life's challenges, pleasures, and ongoing adjustments. So the question is, how equipped do you want to be to handle the myriad of life experiences? We do not have control of what's going on outside of us. We almost don't even have control about what's going on inside of us. Like how I react or respond to a certain situation is beyond my capability. However, I do have the capability to direct my attention with curiosity, deep listening, and total kindness. And as I engage those 3 principles to my present moment experience, along with resourcing, the chance to enjoy life's gifts turns way the fuck up. And the chance to surf life's stressors becomes an easy, viable option without even having to try. So, my sell is, the more you listen, the more you stay curious about what's going on inside and act with a sense of kindness rather than the thought of what should be done, the thought of obligation, the thought of tough love, the better off you will be from an emotional regulation standpoint for sure, but the enjoyment of this life that you have, most deaf. Thanks for watching.